guys, in today's video I'm going to be giving my 10 tips for makeup. So these are just going to be a list of 10 tips and tricks that I use pretty much day to day when I'm doing my makeup, and I figured this would be a really good video because I've been on a kick of kind of showing you guys my tips and tricks or the little how-to videos or anything that would be useful to somebody who's just getting into makeup. So if you want to see those, please keep watching. And so this is going to pretty much be like a get ready with me video. So as I'm getting ready, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the tips that I use when I actually do my makeup. The first step is going to be skincare. I always say this to people: when you want to get into makeup or when you want to have a nice flawless looking complexion, the first thing you're going to want to do is have a good skincare routine. I do know that skincare can be very costly and some people just don't want to either spend the time or money for skincare, so I understand that. So I have one product here that I think is the one thing you need in your routine if you're not going to do anything else but put soap and water on your face and lotion, because some people do use that. So these are my First Aid Beauty Facial Radiance pads. This is what they look like. I've been using these for the past maybe 3-4 years, as long as I've been heavily into watching YouTube. Even before I started making videos, I saw someone talk about these. And if you don't want to get these are available at Sephora for $30. They also have a good comparable one by St. Ives, and I did a product comparison on those two products, so I will link that down below. But this is an exfoliating pad, and I'll show you what they look like. I actually used them just 5 minutes ago. So it's basically a little white pad that has a textured surface on one side, and after you cleanse your face you're just going to kind of lightly scrub your face to get rid of all the dead skin cells and dead skin. If you have dry flaky patches, this product is awesome. And I think the biggest tip for a really smooth foundation application is to take care of your skin underneath. So this is my first tip. If you're only going to get one thing, I think it should be this. Okay, my second tip has to do with eyeshadow. I did a whole video about blending eyeshadow, but the biggest tip that I've kind of realized within the past couple of months or so is to lay an all over shadow color on your whole lid before you start doing your makeup look, just so that the colors that you're blending have something to blend into that's a similar texture. So your eye is a different texture than eyeshadow, so you would lay a shadow down beforehand just so that the other shadows, which are similar in texture, have something to adhere to and they won't like sink into the crevices of your eye or anything like that. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm just taking my Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. You guys know I love that. And I'm just gonna swipe that all over my lid. And you want to use a color that is matte and close to your skin tone. And I take that color from my lash line to a little above my crease. Okay, so there you have it. I have my all over neutral matte shade. And just because for video purposes, I'm just going to put some shadow all over my eyes. This is Molasses Chip. You guys know I like my bronzy golden colors. Oh, and you guys have been giving me great feedback from my new little how-to series or beginner friendly makeup series. I'm really happy that people are finding my tips useful. And you know, I never even thought people wanted to see stuff like that until I think it was requested in one of my videos. Because honestly, these tips I would have so appreciated 6 years ago or however long ago I started getting into makeup in college, and I was walking around going to parties looking a hot mess. I wish somebody would have helped me. I really do, because looking back on those pictures, I looked a mess. But I will link that eyeshadow video down below because it's a whole video all about blending eyeshadow, how to properly apply eyeshadow, and I also give you tips as far as the tools to use for different foundations, blushes, everything like that. My third tip is going to be mascara. Now, if you can tell, I have very short eyelashes. They are horrible, they suck. I always tell people this. I used to wear false lashes every day, but it was kind of pulling out my natural lashes, and since I already don't have a lot to work with, I just started using mascara. And the biggest tip I have, if you especially have hooded eyes or you have really straight and short lashes, is to wiggle your mascara at the base of your eye to give you a lot of volume. So I'm gonna do that now and show you guys. So I basically just start at the base and I wiggle. And what this is going to do is add volume to make my lashes appear more fuller. And this really works well when you're doing it on your bottom lashes. And I'll show you that in a second. And honestly, I got this tip when I was watching America's Next Top Model probably over a decade ago when the show was really popular. You know how they would go to photo shoots, and this was actually a tip that one of the makeup artists gave. I can't remember what number we're on, and I don't want to screw you guys up. My next tip is going to be all about concealer. This is one of the best tips ever, especially if you're not going to wear makeup day to day. Just putting concealer under your eye can just really brighten up your whole look. And I have a specific method that I like to use, so I'm just going to dispense this into the back of my hand so the product can start warming up. I'm going to take this. You can do your ring finger, but I'm going to do my middle finger, and I like to apply it in a triangle. So starting under my lower lash line, up into the corner of my eye, to the side of my eye where my mascara, not my mascara, where my eyeshadow ends, and then taking it down into a triangle. So you can kind of see where I place it. That's just gonna bring lightness and brightness to that area. You may watch other people do tutorials and they will put their concealer in a triangle with like a right angle. This is more of like an equilateral triangle. I know I'm getting really technical, but you know, it's a triangle at the base and then both of the sides come into a point right here. A lot of people do their concealer where it's up under their eye, it comes down straight to their nose, and that's the triangle. The only thing with that is it kind of makes this area right by your nose look bigger, and you may want to do that, but I don't. So that is why I do my concealer like that. Now I'm just going to do the same on the other eye. So then you're going to take a sponge. You can use a brush. I like to use a sponge. This is the Beauty Blender Pro. You can pick this up at Sephora, maybe Ulta, I'm not sure. But it's just a dampened sponge. And then you're just going to kind of bounce it off of your skin. And what this does is it kind of just lets it melt into your skin. And you want to make sure you're blending out all the lines so they're seamless. And when I do right under my eye, kind of where I tend to have some creasing, I like to look up so I can get those crevices smooth. I've technically covered the darkness under my eye, but I've also brought a little bit of light to the area under my eye so that I just have more of like a healthy glow and I look luminous and brightened. And that's the effect that I usually go for when I do my makeup. And that's simply done by highlighting under my eyes with a concealer and a triangle of light. Now let's get back to what I was talking about, the mascara. So because I have oily skin and my eyes tend to get a little oily at the corners and down below, I don't like to tight line. Well, I can tight line, but I can't use regular eyeliner on my lash line. So what I like to do is, once again, I take my mascara, go on my lash line, and I'm just going to wiggle it at the base to kind of create the look of having eyeliner and mascara. Okay, so you kind of see, if you look closely, it's a little darkened at the lash line, and that just creates the illusion of having eyeliner on. But it's a good trick because if you have watery eyes or oily skin or anything, well, you wouldn't have oily eyes, but if you have oily skin and your eyeliner tends to bleed and you don't want to have to set it, this is a really good trick. So I'm just going to do the same on my other eye. So my next tip is going to be all about bronzer. I'm a little obsessed with bronzer. I just love the way it warms up my complexion, and you're gonna immediately be able to see a difference. So right now I just have foundation and concealer on my complexion. I look kind of pale, I look pasty, ghostly. So bronzer is just gonna bring some life back into my complexion. So I'm using a bronzer that's kind of red tone but not too much, and that's because whenever people get tanned or sun-kissed, they kind of get a little reddish glow to them. So that's why I like using this bronzer. It's actually a terracotta bronzer. So I'm just gonna swirl my brush in that, and you're gonna want to bronze in a 3 and E shape. So forehead, temple, cheekbone, up by your ear, jawline. Forehead, temple, cheekbone, up by your ear, jawline. Because that's where you kind of get bronzy when you get a tan, and it's going to give your face a really nice look. So I'm going to do one side of my face and let you guys see the difference between that and the side that doesn't have bronzer. So I like to start on my cheek and I just really go to town. I like putting a little bit of bronzer on my cheekbone so that it kind of brings my face in a little bit, almost like contouring. And I like to bronze the top of my forehead so that my face has a little more shape. It also slims my forehead a little, and you can see that I have more color on this side than the left side, and it just makes me look a little healthy. So I really like to bronze my forehead. You can also bronze above your eyebrows. Sometimes I do that, up in your temple area. And then I like to do under my jaw because that helps to slim my jaw. So I don't know if you can tell between this side of my face and this one. You probably can. I just look more healthy, luminous, and natural, and this side I look kind of sick. So I'm just gonna go ahead and touch up this side. And I like to blend my bronzer back into my hairline just so that it makes my face and my complexion look more natural and not like my foundation is a mask. And a couple of places that I like to bronze that probably aren't traditional. I like to bronze my chin. I just think I look weird if my chin is super light. And I like to bronze on the bridge of my nose right here. I think it just helps you look a little sun-kissed and tanned. Because if you were to actually get like a sunburn or something, you would get it on your nose. So that's why I bronze there. And so now, like, my face just looks healthy. I have color, I don't look so pale, and that's all bronzer really does, is it adds a little color to your face and also dimension. So my face doesn't look flat like it looked 15 minutes ago. I actually look like a real human. So that is the beauty of bronzer. The next tip I'm going to share with you is baking. Now, this became popular on YouTube probably in 2015, and it's a trend that I wasn't all too familiar with, but people have been technically baking or setting their concealer for a while. They do this with stage makeup and things like that, using a translucent powder, and this is a yellow tone powder, to kind of set any type of creamy or liquid product. So that's all baking is. You can bake your foundation, you can bake your concealer, you can bake your creams, contour products, anything like that. So where I'm gonna bake today is my under eye area where we concealed, and baking is just really going to set that emollient product and keep it from moving, sliding. It's gonna also help your mascara not run. So I'm just gonna tap a different beauty blender into it. And I'm just gonna kind of bake where I put that triangle of light under my eye. Now, I know I look crazy. I also want to say that baking is not something that necessarily has to be done every day. I think this is something that you do when you want your makeup to really stand out. So let's say you're going to be taking pictures, just make sure it doesn't cause a flashback. If you're going to be getting married, if you're graduating, if you're going out, any special occasion where you want to look extra beat down, I say baking is good. You can bake your under eye concealer on a daily basis just because that is concealer, but it's really all up to you. So you're just going to leave that on your face for about 5 minutes or so and then dust it away. Baking is really good for oily girls. I'm a grease ball, I admit it. I have really oily skin. Not so much in the winter because I tend to get more normal to dehydrated, but baking is really good because it not only sets your products, whatever you're using on your face, but it also helps to mattify you. And so my next step is going to be a product that's going to help kind of bring your face back after you've mattified your face. Now, to get rid of this excess powder, I'm just using an angled brush like this, and I'm just gonna swipe it away. Now that area is set, it kind of looks matte, so it's not so emollient because that concealer is very, very creamy. And so now the concealer is set, it's gonna stay all day, and we're good to go. The next step is something that I use right after I bake or set any type of creamy products, and that is going to be to use a finishing spray. This is the Bobbi Brown Face Mist. Now, a lot of people call these setting sprays. I guess you could call it a setting spray if you are using very powdery products and you want to set it. But I think they're just finishing sprays. So this one has really nice extracts in it, so it smells good. But I use this primarily just to bring some life back to my face so that I don't look so cakey or pasty or dry after I have set in the area of makeup. So I'm just gonna spray a couple sprays on my face. Or maybe 10. So it's very refreshing, and it's also just going to make my skin look a little bit healthy and dewy. My next trick is actually something that you can use if you have very small eyes and you want them to appear brighter. It is applying a flesh tone eyeliner to the inner rim of your eye. So this is what this eyeliner looks like. Just gonna put that on my waterline. This is also a really good tip if you wake up one morning and your eyes are red. This will take away the redness. Whew, now it will make your eyes water. And after I baked, it looks like my mascara faded a little bit. So I'm just gonna touch that up quickly. So yeah, you guys, those are basically all the tips and tricks I have to share with you in this video. I know we didn't do a whole face, but I really don't have tips as far as blush application or highlight. It's just really all about the placement of those products. And if you watch any of my tutorials, you can kind of see exactly where I put those products. But these are just my tips that I think are not so common, or maybe it's something that you're struggling with as far as your concealer running, your mascara getting on your under eye area, and you're like, oh, I would love a fix for that. These are kind of my tips and tricks for that. But all the videos that I referred to will be linked in the description bar, as well as products that I use. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Let me know what you thought about it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.